Why is it like this in the USA? You don't have mega-sized cereal for mega-sized people? Large corporations don't own the entire shelf? You're telling me that high fructose corn syrup and monosodium glutamate, as well as soybean oil, are not the main ingredient in all of your foods? But how art thou become super addicted and eat more? See, the problem in America is there's a ton of different options that you can choose from here, right? Pickles shouldn't have food coloring and should be in a chilled section. All of these are sugars and oils. Sugars and oils. And everything we eat is the same. Mayonnaise, soybean. You can't spell ketchup without corn syrup. Actually, high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. But the biggest problem in the United States of America is the mix of oil, sugar, and salt. It's like this over here because we're the lab experiment. All the propaganda of us sharing one another how to make our lives better. Costs $2.47 for 2 pounds of black beans, which is going to contain one ingredient. It costs $5 for a giant bag of chips. Just kidding, $7.29 for your carbohydrates, oil, and salt. I mean, let's use Jell-O as an example of America. It's a Kraft Heinz company, so you know that has the bad stuff in it, but this is literally sugar, food starches, and food colorings. Once again, a large corporation in America, asulfame potassium. You know, I thought for a second that was in the zero sugar Hershey syrup. I grew up on these, and now I know why. You see, the most interesting part of all of this, look at the ingredients in the foods. They're sold in other countries, I promise you this. Look at the ingredients in the American version, and then go travel to a foreign country and look at all the ingredients that they're not allowed to put in those foods. Let's use a pound of lunch meat as an example. You can see that there is dextrose. And by the way, yes, these foods are proven to create an addiction and cause you to unconsciously crave them and turn off your satiety signals so you continue to eat more. Did you ever eat just one cookie? Not unless you have self-control. But the foods are designed to remove that self-control. You'll start to notice brands repeat themselves. There's your maltodextrin, there's your dextrose. And you just go to any random aisle and you can see maltodextrin, monosodium glutamate, food color. And it really doesn't matter what I go to next. I mean, this seasoning's so good they put it in every brand now. But you'll find tons of food colorings. You're going to always find your monosodium glutamate. There's your dextrose. There's your maltodextrin. There's your vegetable oils. There's your sugars, and there's your salts. So why is it like this in America? Well, I don't know. I think we're like a lab science project, and people are curious because, well, can't use that word, but we started in a very dark place back in the day. So when you see one of these United States-based companies and they say, made with real vegetables, just really pay attention for a second. I see a tomato, I see a spinach leaf. Genuinely pause the video and tell me where you see tomato. I see spinach powder, tomato powder. But last time I checked, your body actually processes nutrients. Like if you eat the skin of a tomato, it's processing completely different in your body than consuming a powder. It's like choosing a 90% less fat protein powder or peanut butter powder, which adds sugar and salt, versus that oil floating on top, which makes it real and containing nothing but peanuts. If you like the taste of bread, you can buy an infinite amount of it. And I don't know if anybody here has ever made bread before, but do you put all these items in your bread? Like, truly ask yourself, where do you buy calcium propionate? When you start looking at the grocery store as, oh, okay, coffee, simply caffeine. That's your CYP1A2 gene variant that we do genomic testing to help people determine what they should and shouldn't consume. Like, should you be over 200 milligrams of caffeine? Based on our testing over the past 3.5 years, you should stay under 200 milligrams. Most people have that gene variant, under 200 milligrams of caffeine in a day. Should you be touching any food item that says this? No. Laundry list of ingredients? Definitely not, but some in specific. Citric acid shows up on our food sensitivity tests, and same with sucralose. And then the cyano versus the methylated. When you really open your eyes, you're going to be in for a surprise. That everything... Just to throw you off track real quick, yes, there is canola oil in Hawaiian Punch. But back to the story, of course, everything. Even pay attention to this one right here. Yep. You can see it repeated again. And definitely again. And again, we have the illusion of choice. And when there's this many options, how do you know which one to choose? So if you're one of the few people that made it this far, we have a 172-page paper written by our gut restoration dietitian. We have a microgreens grower, a myofascial therapist, meditation, fasting, breathing, subconscious affirmations, grounding, cold showers. All of it is mapped out for you. And I can only tell you one thing. When you start learning the homeostasis diet, you'll see why they want to try to silence us. Because this is a 5-pound jar of sugar and hydrogenated vegetable oils with salt. There's your sugar, there's your oil, there's your salt. And I promise you, breaking this addiction that we have had since we were children is... Why is America like this? That's why.